on the board of directors for the Hellenic Lawyers Association, on the board of directors for the Hellenic American Chamber of Commerce, where back in the days he created the Young Professional Group, and it's still going strong with so many events. He is responsible in part for the New York City Greek Film Festival. He was responsible for bringing Yiannis the Greek Freak to New York. My son thanks you for that. And he's one of the co-founders of the National American Leadership Council. Seriously, Taso, where do you find the time? But I think his biggest accomplishment is his 3 beautiful children. So with that, I introduce you to Taso Pardalis, our keynote speaker.
Thank you, Mamie. Εγώ θα σας μιλήσω στα αγγλικά γιατί είμαι Ελληνοαμερικανάκι. Χριστός Ανέστη σε όλους. Thank you. Dignitaries, Hellenes, Philhellenes, friends. Good afternoon. Welcome to the flag raising. We are here today in one of New York City's most historic districts to kick off a weekend of events culminating in our fantastic parade. And we're going to have beautiful weather and we look forward to seeing everybody there. George Washington, the first president of this nation, was inaugurated just steps from here on Wall Street. And immediately after his inauguration, went a few blocks down to Francis Tavern and celebrated with a beer. The founding fathers of the United States took so much from our Greek culture and our ideals in the forming of this great nation. Most of them, and many people don't know this, read Greek and even wrote letters to each other in Greek during the Revolution. And they spoke other languages, they wrote Latin primarily, but they decided, many of them, to write in Greek so that they could capture the ethos of the Greek spirit in their revolution and make it a part of the foundation of this country. Our nation's foundation and our democratic concepts and enlightened thinking came from the Greek people. And here I am today, fortunate enough to be both a Greek and an American, whose country was built on Greek ideals. I grew up here in New York City, like Mamie told you, and eventually, after I finished law school, I worked at a large firm down here at 40 Wall Street. I attended this event every year, given that it was so close to work. Never at that time did I have imagined that I would be here giving this speech today. I am honored and humbled to be here with you all. On March 25th, 1821, Greece, after hundreds of years of slavery, declared itself free from the Ottoman rule and began their revolution, or as they called it in the 19th century, their agona. This agona began in the Peloponnese, where my family is originally from, and quickly spread like wildfire throughout the rest of Greece. 8 years later, Greece would be free. In America, the letters of the time between Thomas Jefferson and Koreas tell the story that our founding fathers here supported the Greek Revolution and even considered sending American troops to Greece to help Greece free itself. However, we were too new and weak a nation to do so. Daniel Webster, a great attorney and a great American, took to the American Senate floor in a plea to aid the Greek Revolution with the following. The roots of American liberty were based in ancient Greece, Webster declared. This practice of free debate and public discussion, the contest of mind with mind, even the edifice in which we assemble, all remind us that Greece has existed and that we, like the rest of mankind, are greatly her debtors. The torch from ancient Greece has passed onto the new bastion of liberty, the United States. Webster addressed the House at length and argued that Americans, as custodians of liberty for the world, had an obligation to publicize their moral support for the cause of Greek independence. The speech went on to say, "The Christian subjects of the Sublime Porte feel daily all the miseries which flow from despotism, from anarchy, from slavery, and from religious persecution. In the whole world, there is no such oppression felt as felt by the Greeks." The celebration of Greek independence and the Independence Day Parade has always been something I look forward to every year. I remember idolizing Kolokotronis, Karaiskakis, and the other heroes of 1821, and yelling Zito Alas and Eleftheria I Thanatos, as if I was yelling alongside them as a kid. I've treasured these celebrations, these heroes, and these words, and I want my children to treasure them as well. And because I want my children and all of our children to treasure not the caricature of 1821, but the true spirit of 1821, I'm going to teach them the words of Kolokotronis that I only read recently. Έλληνες, ο Θεός υπέγραψε για την ελευθερία μας και δεν πρέπει να υπογράφω, δεν παίρνει την υπογραφή του πίσω. Okay. These words are inspiring enough when you read them as a rallying cry for freedom over Ottoman tyranny. But we achieved that freedom. We've enjoyed that freedom for 2 centuries. Today, we have to ask ourselves if we take that freedom for granted. Kolokotronis' words were not a party line. Those words are a commandment. When I read the news of the Greek soldiers held hostage in Turkey, of the brave Greek pilot killed while scrambling to defend his country, of Turkey claiming Imia, or the exclusive economic zone of Cyprus, as its own, I sometimes feel despair. But I try to calm down and just think of these words. Έλληνες, ο Θεός επέγραψε για την ελευθερία μας και δεν παίρνει την υπογραφή του πίσω. I am stirred to action. These words make me remember that Kolokotronis' words and actions made it to us today because it was the Greek diaspora of that time that helped kick off 1821. They rallied diplomatic support for Greece in the countries they lived in, and they helped arm the Greeks and even went back home to fight alongside them. This was the example of the Φιλική Εταιρεία. And as we seek heroes whose example we can follow, let us look to them. The heroes of the Φιλική Εταιρεία were not children or grandchildren of Greek immigrants. Their families had been separated from Greece for generations, if not centuries. But they believed in a free Greece, just like we say we do. They believed in preserving their history and their language, just like we say we do. They believed they owed it to both their ancestors and their descendants to fight for all of this, just like we say we do. And as they hatched their plans to free Greece, they anticipated the words that Kolokotronis ultimately uttered. Έλληνες, ο Θεός υπέγραψε για την ελευθερία μας και δεν παίρνει την υπογραφή του πίσω. These words echoed throughout the history of modern Greece, and heroes kept stepping up to respond to them. That is how Macedonia and Crete and our awesome Aegean islands all became part of Greece. It is how Cyprus was liberated from British colonialism. It is how Imia was defended in the 90s. And these words still echo today. Will we accept the challenge? I am proud to be a founding member of HALC, the Hellenic American Leadership Council. And in our work with the Federation, we've done a lot over the last 5 years. But as I think of Kolokotronis' commandment, I am especially proud of what we've done in the past month alone. We helped pass legislation in the US Congress that commits the US to help Greece upgrade its F-16 fleet and defend the Aegean. We led the opposition of the sale of F-35 fighter jets to Turkey, a sale that even the Assistant Secretary of State this week publicly admitted is in danger. We led the effort to introduce legislation lifting the arms embargo in the Republic of Cyprus. And that describes just what we've kicked off this month. Every day we are speaking to another official about these and other issues. And we thank the Federation for its support. We invested in online tools that allow each and every one of you, that allow everyone in our community to have a voice and stick up for Greece. Know this, Kolokotronis' words will echo until Greece is free from the tyranny of debt, until Sultan Erdogan no longer threatens the Aegean, until the people in Skopje with their fake identity cannot claim our history or any part of our land, and until the last boot of the last Turkish occupation troop is off of Cyprus. Kolokotronis issued the commandment nearly 2 centuries ago. Let's commit to honoring it today. Έλληνες, ο Θεός υπέγραψε για την ελευθερία μας και δεν παίρνει την υπογραφή του πίσω. Thank you. I look forward to seeing you all at the parade. Ζήτω η Ελλάδα και μπράβο στα παιδιά που χορεύαν.
Thank you, Taso. Wonderful and very inspirational.